Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are doing fantastic. In this week's trade review, we're going to be talking about one trade, New Zealand USD. That's the first thing we're going to do. And then we're going to talk about price action theory. So that's going to be a really good point. So if you do trade supply and demand, we're going to talk about some just, price action and see what price is doing and what is supply, what is demand. So that should only take about 4 or 5 minutes. That's probably going to take 5 minutes. So enough is enough. Let's get straight into it. Alright, so first thing, New Zealand USD. We were looking at buying this New Zealand USD. Why? Because we were sitting inside a daily demand zone. This should be a very good weekly review for you guys because we're going to talk about price action a lot. This was the opposing supply zone that was interested in looking for sells at. So the opposing supply is not till up here. Notice the strong imbalance, right? So clearly big money was located up here. We just removed this drop-based drop supply zone, right? So here's a drop-based drop supply zone. It's been tested once, came down, it went deeper, went deeper into it, tested twice, came out, went deeper into it, and eventually broke it for the third touch, right? So if we could assume that there was 1,000 orders, we could maybe say 500 got touched here, 500 got touched here. When prices finally do decide to arrive back into the supply zone, prices are not going to stay there because there's no more swilling sell orders in this area. This supply zone was a nice supply zone at one time, back here when it was firstly getting touched, right? Now, for the third and fourth touch, there is no supply in there, right? So after we broke that supply, I noticed this is the next opposing supply zone. So this is opening up my profit margin. This is my daily demand zone right here, rally, base, rally, right? So I want to be looking for buys. So what I did is I went straight down into my 1 hour time frame and I looked at buying this. A couple of the members caught this long. We talked about it in the Sunday meeting. Prices came straight down into it, right? Perfect. My first opposing target was like right here, right before this opposing supply zone, which then sucks because then I moved my second position to break even and I actually got stop lossed out right there at that second touch. I think there were some other ones that held it for till up here. Maybe they didn't. Don't really remember. Maybe they got stop lossed out for break even on this pullback, but then prices went up and shot up from there, right? So once again, prices sitting inside a daily demand zone, right? Daily demand went down to the 1 hour. We want to know, where are the significant amount of buyers stepping in, right? A lot of buyers are stepping in down here, right? Clearly the strong move away, right? Started this whole daily demand zone. So I would want to be a buyer when prices come back down into this area, right? Most people are thinking like, you're an idiot for looking at buying this thing. Clearly this thing was going down. Yes. Well, I understood where prices were on the higher time frame, meaning this is where daily demand, this is where daily supply is, right? Right now, I'm actually trying to I'm in the middle of creating kind of like a mini course for everybody. It's completely free. It's like 2 hours long right now. So I think it's like an hour and a half long. So that should be out maybe 2 weeks from now. So besides that, let's dive into price action. If we check out EURAUD. So EURAUD going to the Friday close last week, it shot up, right? Completely shot up, right? Nothing too strong though. This is not really a strong imbalance because if we see it based on the 1 hour, we kind of just see the imbalance starting from down here, right? This is where the real imbalance was because then after these two candles, what did prices do? It kind of base, grind, right? It's just basing and grinding up, right? If there was a significant amount of buyers in this area, don't you think prices would do this and not this? Which one tells you that there is a significant amount of buyers? This one or this one, right? This one, right? The left one. Right? So if there is a lot of buyers, prices will shoot up very quickly. It won't have this grinding feel. So then that's when I was saying, okay, we were talking about this in the the Sunday meeting saying there is no demand in here. I don't want to be looking for buys at all in this whole area of demand, because there is no demand. Demand is not told at least down here, at least, right? Actually, we were trying to take this short pullback, but we never got that pullback. I think prices were sitting inside. Yeah, we were sitting inside this daily supply zone, like this. Daily supply. I was excited for this trade too. It sucks I didn't get the pullback. We kind of broke this upward momentum. We knew that there was no demand in this area, right? We removed demand, so I was thinking, great, if I get a pullback, I'm going to short this thing, and I'm going to hold my target till this opposing demand zone down here. So let's think about it. If there really was an imbalance, don't you think prices would have shot up, not just slowly grinded, right? Same thing with Euro New Zealand, right? This is the 1 hour demand zone. Rally base, 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 rally base, 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 right? There is no significant amount of buyers in this location, right? So that's telling me that there is no real imbalance out of this demand, right? I think this is what it was, the Euro New Zealand. This was the demand. Yeah, that's what it was. Is this one actually removed this 1 hour demand zone? You notice how this one did? It's more clear, right? And the pullback was better, right? Compared to this one. See the difference? So Euro New Zealand was the one that I was watching. Euro Yen. Let's talk about this for a second. All right, so if I had to ask you, what is the trend? Down, up, or sideways? What would you say? You'd probably say down, right? So we want to be following the trend in this case, because clearly the big money is selling, right? Never mind the higher time frames or anything like that. This is just something interesting to consider. When prices started to fall from here, how far did prices leave? It went 480 pips, okay? That's the imbalance. What was the corrective move, right? For those that don't know what the corrective move is, it's pretty simple. That would be like this, right? The imbalance candles, the big candles continuing the trend up, are the imbalance candles, right? The corrective move is this right here, that move, right? So the imbalance, we're in a downtrend, so when you're selling, that's going to be the next imbalance, right? Prices drop all the way down, 480 pips. What was the corrective move? 270, right? What was the next impulsive move down? 360. Okay, so we're getting smaller and smaller. What was the corrective move? 230. What was this next move? 340. Call it 350. 350. Right? So we're at this time an area where we're sitting inside a monthly demand zone. We've just created a 350 point drop in the market. Given the history, we're bound for a correction move. People who are selling this low in price, right? There are people that are missing out on the move, right? They're scared. They're going into the fear. They're falling into the fear. They don't want to miss the leg down because they clearly see this thing going down. But what they need to wait for is prices to rally back up, right? So previously they've gone up, what, 250, 250, basically 250 pips. So we could probability based assume that they're going to go up at least to this area, 250. The trend momentum, I would draw something like this, right? We have a daily supply zone right here. So we have a nice daily supply zone being formed right here, but then we also have a nice kind of 4 hour supply zones, I think, in here. Let's go down there. So we go into the 4 hour, and that would be the 4 hour supply. So that's where I see the imbalances, possibly prices going for the corrective move. Make sense? So what also happened here is something in the methodology we kind of call it the overextended, the elastic band theory, is we created drop, base, drop, base, drop, base, drop, drop, base, drop. So we basically created 4 or 5 drop, base, drop continuation patterns in a row. We consider the market overextended anytime we have 3. So we would draw somewhat the momentum line like that. So once I saw that this downward momentum line was getting broken, right? We created 4 drop base drops in a row. We just broke that downward momentum, right? We just created a 350 point move down, right? Following, the history of just price action, right? We're bound to get a retracement. So it's probably not smart at selling at these 4-hour supply zones, right? Novice people are selling in this drop here, right? They're selling in this after the move has already gone down so much, the fear of missing out, right? But we see the market as overextended. We've created 4 or 5 drop base drops in a row. We just created a 350 point drop. Based in history, we created 3 already in a row that have exceeded 350. So we're bound for a pullback, a correction move. I was going to watch this on the 1 hour, but I really didn't like it on the 1 hour. I was watching this kind of drop base rally, but this was more just kind of a price action analysis to see what happens play. You know what I mean? So I would kind of write a little journal note saying, what's happening in Euro Yen, look back in a couple days, right? I was looking at that, but based on the monthly time frame, let's quickly remove everything. Based on the monthly time frame, we are clearly in a downtrend, right? We have supply zones being respected, demand zones being removed. That is our monthly demand. Monthly demand has been tested once, twice, right? Going deeper into it. So I wouldn't want to be a seller with prices going into monthly demand, right? Kind of makes sense. So the next time I might want to be looking for selling opportunities would be up in that area after this corrective move tells me different, right? But hey, if prices actually go like this, and we kind of break that downward momentum, I'm going to be looking at this probably for a long scenario, right? Possibly. That's what I might look at. All right, and besides that, that's basically everything in this video. There was a question that Kratos, a long-term viewer and listener, supporter of my channel, just want to say thank you very much for always watching this channel and always commenting. Appreciate that. I have no problem setting up a meeting with you because he was asking me what's my routine, my weekly routine, how do I structure my trading day and stuff like that. I really didn't prepare for that answer, and I really don't like to give a half-ass answer in these videos, right? I prefer going all in or all out, so I'm all out in this video, all right? I have no problem setting up a meeting with you. Just message me and let's try to set up a meeting over the weekend. That is a video that I will do maybe in a month or 2 from now. It's something that is important to talk about, but I just haven't had time to create that video. I haven't put time aside to actually directly give it attention, right? I always have time, but I just haven't given it attention, I should say. All right, so Kratos, just message me and we'll set up a meeting sometime this weekend or next week, all right? But besides that, let's end it there. All right. Thank you very much, everybody, for viewing this, watching, listening. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You guys know what to do. I don't know. Everybody says it in their YouTube videos. All right. Besides that, let you guys go. Cheers. Thank you. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.